super chatted 6 weeks ago. We should draft Plumley late. We ended up getting him undrafted. This kid is super athletic. I'm a huge fan. What's the chance he makes the 53-man roster?
Hold on. Let me. Oh, all right. I'm catching you up now. I'm catching you up. All right.
Good question. You'd have to beat out Kyle Allen.
Well, put it like this, man. Actually, I ain't cut you off. My bad.
I think that's how he makes it. He's not getting on over Fields or Russ, and I think we're only going to keep 3 quarterbacks. Now there's that new third quarterback rule, so it doesn't hurt us to have 3. You could dress 3, and it doesn't count as a roster spot against you on game days.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way he's beating out Russ or Fields. Kyle Allen, you would assume, has the upper hand just because of his experience being in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, even though I don't think he's that good of a player, I think that is valuable to have on game day and just around throughout the week in a quarterback room.
Mm-hmm.
But if Plumlee can go toe-to-toe with Kyle Allen through OTAs and training camp and prove to be almost as good or just as good of a player or quarterback in this system, then I could see the Steelers going the youth route because it would be less expensive.
Yeah. All right. See, I was thinking about too many different things. I was like, I wanted to get to this, and then it was pulling up with the day going, rush hour over here. Shout out to y'all in the chat with the rush hour, all right? I'm not going to get distracted. I'm just going to say shout out to Bust Down, shout out to Tom Jade, shout out to Jacob Maris, shout out to Taylor Made 3906. All right, y'all know what y'all know, all right? Shout out to y'all. But now I'm back to you, Triple Double. Love the name, by the way. Yeah, John Rhys? Let's say his name right. John Rhys Plumlee. The thing that I like about him, and the thing that I think is interesting about him in comparison to Kyle Allen, is the athleticism. Just as, the alumni vibe of it, just former, like, looking back at those two type of dudes, man, with Kyle Allen, the one thing that he brings to the table is a high floor for the backup position. That's the reason why he's been in the league. That's the reason why he's been able to bounce around but still have a job. Whereas we can point to other quarterbacks that aren't starters, right? Duck Hodges. Duck's won games in this league, and he's, been on the roster in this league, but he still hasn't been able to have this, long just career being a backup, so to speak. And that is why I say it's more of a testament to Kyle Allen and his style and his floor, because it's not just a 1 or 2, flashes in the pan. It's like, when you need a dude in these type of scenarios, he's been consistent in that vein. So that's the part where, like I said, I think for Kyle, that's his leg up. For John, though, the athleticism jumps off the screen. Whether you're talking about him collegiately, you can pull up clips of him, breaking 60-yard touchdown runs. You can pull up clips of him, doing some of the throwing stuff. And that's kind of why you've seen, is he a Taysom Hill? I think me and you talked about that when we signed him, was like, do we use him potentially in that vein because of the athleticism that is with him? But I do think for him, it's very similar, but not to the same degree as the Justin Fields, Russell Wilson conversation. Justin Fields, the more talented, better athlete, all those things, but in terms of his play in and play out floor, no, it's not to the same level as Russell Wilson. You look at Kyle Allen. Kyle Allen has the high floor, but he doesn't have all of the, he's going to pull it down and just take off running. He's going to run to the sideline and then he can throw it crazy across. Like, nah, John can do that. But is John going to give you the just consistent floor quarterback type play that you are assuming that we're going to continue to get, or we should get, from Kyle Allen? That's going to be the thing. If he can raise his floor up, if John Rhys can raise his floor up to where it's close enough, or it's at least in a conversation, his athleticism blows Kyle Allen out the park. But right now, Kyle Allen, above the neck and arm wise, he is going to kind of have that driver's seat on John. And that was even when I saw both of them, like I said, out there at OTAs. That's kind of the vibe right now. But with John, just give him time. The same way we're saying with Justin Fields, give him time. Let's see what happens once he kind of gets settled in. For all of these guys, if you weren't at rookie minicamp, this is your first time getting talked to about Arthur Smith's playbook. This is your first time getting a chance to be out there on the field and running these plays for Arthur Smith's playbook live, right, with the defense out there. So For the veteran dudes, they pick it up a little bit quicker because they've seen football and they've seen a lot more of these NFL type concepts. Whereas collegiately, it's a little bit of a learning curve. But give him time. Let's see what it looks like by the time he gets to training camp, because they're not going to make any move on him right now because there's no need to. But by the time he gets to training camp, let's see if it slows down any for him. And then when you get into one of them preseason games, all it takes is for him to do one of them freaky run type things, and that'll change the whole dynamic, as long as he's not turning it over, because Kyle isn't going to give you the legs part. And that could definitely, like I said, in terms of the deciding factor on it, that could definitely work for him, man.
And it's not like the Steelers haven't done the youth approach.
Absolutely.
When, keeping a quarterback versus cutting a quarterback going into a season. Because going back when Mason, was he a rookie? Was it Mason and Dobbs we had versus Landry Jones?
Yep.
And, keeping Landry would be all the same reasons why you would keep Kyle Allen around.
100%, man.
He's been in the league for a minute. Probably a good guy to have in the quarterback room for 7 to bounce ideas off of. Being a veteran, right? Knowing what it means to be in the league and all that stuff, being a professional. But then you have a Plumlee, who not as high a pedigree as a Dobbs or Mason because he wasn't drafted. But, if he performs and shows that, all right, I at least can give you almost what Kyle Allen can do on the field. All right, why don't we just go with him and see how he can develop and how he could be in the system here?
Yeah. And the thing is, man, even though he wasn't drafted, so he doesn't have the cachet, so to speak, that Rudolph or even Dobbs have, he has a defining characteristic that those two dudes don't have.
And that's something I think would help him pretty well in the Arthur Smith system.
That's the reason why I'm like, if he can just make it close enough arm-wise, athletically, he has the upper hand. Like, any of the leg stuff, the mobility stuff, outside of Justin Fields, he's gonna love him in any of these competitions, man. Any of these type of get-on-the-move type situations.
Yeah. I'd say most likely, I'd say most likely Kyle Allen will be QB3, but Plumlee will be practice squad. That's the most likely situation. But
at least to start
I
off.
wonder if we do let Plumlee go, if he would sign somewhere else that would. It all depends on how he plays in preseason and training camp and stuff. But let's just say he does make it interesting between him and Kyle Allen, and we ultimately go the veteran route and say, you know what, Plumlee, we do like you. We'll keep you around, though. It's not going to hurt us to have you chilling on the practice squad. But by doing that, you got to open him up to the rest of the league, right? Yeah, maybe he'd sign somewhere else. Yeah, would the Steelers
remember,
be willing to risk
he
that?
can't sign until somebody gives him an offer. So that's the one benefit where it's like, if we put you on practice squad, you don't get to just determine where you're gonna go. But if another team comes, we get the opportunity of first refusal.
Don't
we
they
can
have
match you.
that option though if you cut them before the season, like the 53?
You're saying you were saying like he was already on practice squad.
No, that's what I would say. You'd cut him and then bring him back for practice squad.
Right. But if
I guess he'd have that day or two to decide if someone else wanted to give him an offer.
Well, in that context, yes,
you could risk losing him. So maybe, if he does good enough and the Steelers didn't want to risk losing him, that's the case for keeping him around. But my bet would be Kyle Allen is QB3 if I had to bet money right now.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's out of question Plumlee can make it interesting.
When you have mobility and preseason, neither one of these dudes are with the ones, right? Strong possibility neither one gets a ton of reps with the twos. So you're usually behind the not so good protection. Mobility helps you. Mobility can help you. Now with Cal, I'm sure his approach is, man, there's nothing like having an OG in that huddle with you. When you the young guys with that last group in the preseason games, you just feel more confident because you're like, he at least knows what he's doing. He's been here before. He's not going to be freaking out. Whereas with Plumlee, we still would have to see what that's going to look like. But yeah, it's definitely, I don't think it's out of the conversation for him, though. I'm with you.